Start it off with this. Do you have to be friends with everyone? Raise your hand. Raise your hand, and then you're going to run to the person who raises their hand. He's raising his hand. You can, yeah, run to him. Yeah, anyone. You can choose whoever. Okay, well.
Oh my gosh. No, I don't think you have to be friends with everybody because obviously there are going to be people whose perspectives on things vary, and in that way it kind of makes it sound like you can disagree on a lot of things. Like you wouldn't go out and be friends with somebody who like clearly is like rude to everybody and always swearing and partying and drinking. And so like yeah, I think there are people you don't have to be friends with.
Valid.
Good, good. Got another hand raised over here.
No, you don't have to be friends with everybody, but you do have to be friendly for the most part, I would say.
That's good. That's good. Jaren's raising his hand.
So I can't with you, bro. I can't, bro. Oh, whoa. I would say like being cordial with people. Really, when it comes down to it, I only really make someone like an actual friend if they're either equally yoked or uplifting me in some way. Because if you're dragging me down, why do I need you as a friend if you're not uplifting me? But also like for classmates, like you can be cordial and you can be cool, but it really just comes down to if they're uplifting you, if they're equally yoked. So yeah.
Man, might as well just hand you the mic. You can preach tonight, bro. Reading my notes.
Whoa. Oh, jeez. Definitely not, because there's always going to be people who hate you.
That's good. Okay, how about one of the ladies over here on the couch?
No, you don't have to be friends with everyone because some people, they act like your friend, but they don't want to be your friend, so you got to choose wisely with your friends. And people, other people, they don't know what they're doing with their lives, and you don't want to follow in their steps if they don't know what they're doing.
Valid.
Got one more over here. Raise your hand. Here you go.
So what I'm saying is probably no, because there's people that you're gonna click with, and then there's people that, like you said, like they're just gonna tear you down. They're not gonna help you in any way, and they're just gonna, like, even if you're up here, you're here with God, and they can be down here, and they could slowly be bringing you down, and you have no idea. Like on and on throughout the day, even like little things like cussing every now and then, listening to bad music, it could be bringing you down slowly, and you won't even know it. And then yeah, like there's people that are just literally gonna not like you at all. It can either because you're rude, or because you're super friendly, or because you're popular. There's so many different ways people will hate you for no reason, even if they're jealous of you. And I feel like it's sometimes you don't want to be friends with people that bring you down and that won't really like help you with anything in your life.
Fire. Okay. So I'm gonna go on to my next question. I'm sorry. Brian, I know you bring the fire every time. Hold on.
Oh, well, I believe... Oh, my gosh. Is my voice always this squeaky?
Yes.
Ah, man. Man, I didn't know.
I love you, yes, but keep going.
But I believe that, like how he said, we could be friends with a lot of people, but there's going to be people that are going to hate us. Like, that's just facts. Like, they could say straight to your face, I hate you, with a strong passion. Jeez. And you might not really like them, but you still have to be friendly with them because that's what God says, and that will be difficult at times, but that doesn't mean you have to be friends with them.
That's good. That's good.
There you go.
Cooking. Okay, so has anybody ever felt that you're obligated, in a sense, to be friends with people at times? Do you ever feel obligated, like, I have to be their friend?
Many times.
Why do you feel obligated?
I mean, like, you may not like how they act, but, like, they're really nice to you, and, like, you feel like you don't want to just tell them to, like, go away. Like, you don't want to put them in a bad spot.
So like compassion, you have compassion
Yeah.
for them. Okay, got one. Jeffrey? Actually, let's hear from Jeffrey. She raised her hand. Nick, I love your energy. You should do this more often.
I think that, yes, Nick, I think that you're very fast, dude. We should race later. I think that if you ever feel obligated, it could be because God is asking you to be someone's friend. I've had friends in my life where it's not necessarily that I felt oh, this is gonna be my best friend, but maybe the Lord called me to that friendship for a reason. So I think that would go to be like, because sometimes you're friends with people and you're like, how did this happen? And I think that the Lord does call us due to what we have on our lives. Like every single one of us has a calling and every single one of us offers something. So sometimes there are friendships where it's just because it's out of obedience. And I think the Lord honors that though, so it doesn't seem like a chore. It's actually enjoyable.
Cook. Leaders, feel free to hop in too, so you're good.
Wait, what was? Can you say the
Do you ever
question
feel obligated, and why do you feel obligated?
to be someone's
To
friend?
be someone's friend, yes.
So it's actually happened to me recently. People find out that you're a Christian and they start making biases against you because you're a Christian, and they'll start using it against you. And so like somebody was asking if I could drive them home from like an event or something, and I was like, oh, sorry, I can't because I'm busy afterwards. Like I had to get home. And they're like, aren't you a Christian? Like you're supposed to help people. And yeah, exactly. And so people like use the fact that you're a Christian to kind of twist it into like you're supposed to be friends with everyone and you're supposed to be helpful always.
Oh, Aaliyah. Or here, in the middle, right here. Yep. Don't, okay.
Thank you. To add on to what Jeffrey had said earlier is that like sometimes it can be like a challenge for you. Like I like drop people really fast if I see like the slightest thing that could be like, nah, that's too much energy to put into. So like commitment was really hard for me, and so like last year I think there are some people that were put into my life, and like recently they have been like really pushing it, and so yeah.
Bring the mic up. If I'm going like this, that means bring the mic up to you so we can hear you.
Oh, okay. It's just so loud. So yeah, and it's just like you want to like leave it alone, but you can't because you know that like it's the challenge. You have to like stay in this area where it's uncomfortable because that's where God calls you to.
That's good. Okay, we have last one right here in the corner. Eva.
Okay. So I feel like that a lot because if you know me, I'm a very friendly person. Like I like making friends and having friends. Like good friends though, not bad friends. But my mom, I've been going to a few different teens, but my mom runs our teens ministry at church. So a lot of the times when new people come, I could feel very like forced to do it in a way. Not like you have to do it, but like my mom will be like, hey Ava, could you go say hi to that person, like kind of welcome her in? And that'll happen to me a lot with like a lot of different leaders and people because they know that I can make friends very easily. And it's like, they'll ask me, oh, can you do that? Can you do that? And then sometimes I'll see somebody not really having friends, and I'll just say it by myself. So, like, when that happens, obviously I won't feel, like, as obligated to do it. But a lot of times, yeah, I will, because my mom has to be a leader and everything and force me to do everything. But you know what? That's okay. At least I can make people feel welcome. So
That's good. Okay. So now we talked about, I'm going to ask you another question. When do you need to take a step back from a friendship? Actually, can we have, I know you went, and you can go right after Janiyah. I just say, because I want to be able to see.
So I think a time when it's time to like step back from a friendship is, you know, God put a light in all of us. None of us are dim. And when you like start to tell that someone you're being around, whether like it's conscious things that they're doing or just like subconscious, and they're starting to dim your shine, like if they're starting to become a blanket over your lamp, then you need to back up. Because a lot of
Cook.
always will.
Come on, preacher, preach.
And I just feel like if you feel like somebody, I'm like, 2024 is about protect your peace for me. So honestly, if you feel like somebody is like causing a war in your mind or make you think differently of yourself, and it's not like aligning with what God says you are and what you're supposed to be, then you need to take a step back. Whether it can be hard. It can be really, really hard. And sometimes you feel like you can't do it, but just like keep praying about it and they'll get over it.
That's good. Okay, let's go back over here. Yep, because she raised her hand, and then we'll go to Mia right after her.
When I feel like you have to step down to a friend is let's say you have someone that knew God very well, and then they got another friend who wasn't, and they're like, that person is like your best friend, and then they follow someone else, and they start bringing you down. And when you feel like a heavy pressure or something, and like something isn't right, that's when you back down. And yeah.
Okay, Mia had her hand raised, and then Jaren.
Wow, bro, switch it up.
Wow, man, that's like so slow.
You didn't want to run to me. It's fine. I think the question was like, when do you know when to step back?
When should you? It was, when do you have to step back from a friendship?
I think it depends on what you guys look at when you have to take a step back. There's definitely been relationships and friendships where when things are going wrong, when they are bringing you down, and you recognize that, I think, one, if they're like your best friend, have a conversation with them. Because if this is something, and I've just literally had this conversation with my best friend the other day, which was literally like, if you love this person, you will have that conversation with them. But sometimes that person may not be in the place to accept it, and that's when you know it may be time to take a step back, but also knowing that taking a step back doesn't mean having to take a step back forever, and it doesn't mean having to leave them hanging or dry. Because you still do have that love for them if they're your friend, but that love is also part of taking a step back, is because you do love that person enough to do that. Especially if you want to have that relationship in the future with them, is knowing when to take that step.
So you guys are just perfectly like writing what the Lord is doing. Jordan, can you put up the first scripture in Exodus? Oh yeah, Jaren, my bad.
First things first, discernment, baby. You got to use that discernment. Once you see the lack of fruits, you got to get out of there. Yeah. Like it says in Matthew 6, it's showed by your fruits. That's really like how, if you're not showing the fruits of the Spirit, then I don't want to hear it, for real. That's how I go.
Come on, preacher, preach.
Blah, blah, blah.
Get this guy out of here, bro.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so we have more questions coming, so don't worry. We're gonna I might consult a leader really quick, Jeffrey. Yeah, do you want it? Yeah, just really. Okay, so. Okay, let's go to the verse. Exodus. Then God said, "Behold, I am going to make a covenant before all your people. I will perform miracles which have not been produced in all the earth, nor among any of the nations. And all the people among you whom you will live will see the working of the Lord, for it is a fearful thing that I am going to perform with you. Be sure to observe what I am commanding you to this day. Behold, I am going to drive out the Amorite before you, and the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite. Watch yourself that you make no covenant with the inhabitants of the land into which you are going, or it will become a snare in your midst. But rather, you are to tear down their altars and smash the sacred pillars and cut down their Asherim. For you shall not worship any other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. Otherwise, you might make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they would play the harlot with their gods and sacrifice to their gods, and someone who might invite you to eat of his sacrifice. And you might take some of his daughters for your sons, and his daughters might play the harlot with their gods, and cause your sons also to play the harlot with their gods." Go to Deuteronomy. Again, it's echoed. "When the Lord your God brings you into the land where you are entering to possess it, and clears away many nations before you, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites, 7 nations greater and stronger than you. And when the Lord your God delivers them before you and you defeat them, then you shall utterly destroy them. You shall make no covenant with them, show no favor to them. Furthermore, you shall not intermarry with them. You shall not give your daughters to their sons, nor shall you take their daughters for your sons. For they will turn your sons away from following me to serve other gods, and the anger of the Lord will be kindled against you, and he will quickly destroy you. But thus you shall do to them, you shall tear down their altars and smash their sacred pillars, and hew down or throw down their ashram, and burn their graven images with fire. For you are a holy people to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you to be a people for his own possession out of all the peoples who are on the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love on you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any of the peoples, for you were the fewest of all the peoples. But because the Lord loved you and kept the oath which he swore to your forefathers, the Lord brought you out by a mighty hand and redeemed you from the house of slavery and from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Know therefore that the Lord your God, he is God, the faithful God, who keeps his covenant and his loving kindness to 1,000th generation with those who love him and keep his commandments. But repays those who hate him to their faces. To destroy them, he will not delay with him who hates him. He will repay him to his face. Therefore you shall keep the commandment and the statutes and the judgments which I am commanding you today to do them. So that brings us to our question of, and you guys are hitting the nail right on the head with the hammer. Do you need to be friends with everybody? No. When do you need to take a step back from a friendship? When they're pulling you away from your relationship with the Lord. And we see examples here. It's like don't intermarry with them, don't make covenants with them, because here's what's going to happen. The saying goes, bad company corrupts good character. And so it's okay to say no. I'm going to start with that. It's okay to say no. Someone wants to be friends and they have a lifestyle, or they do certain things, or they live a certain way that's going to tear you down, that's going to pull you away with your relationship with the Lord. It's okay to walk away from that friendship and say, no, I'm sorry. You have full permission to say no. Sometimes, does it hurt sometimes? Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes the friendships that are closest to you are the ones that hurt the most, because you see the way that they're living and you see how the road that they're going down. And the road, it's going to end in destruction. It's going to end in heartbreak. That relationship is just going to end in pain. That the relationship you want to get into, that they're just going to use you. Let's get real. Let's get real. Sometimes we just want to get into a relationship just to feel that love, just to feel that amazing whatever, to feel that to feel like wanted. And then all of a sudden the other person dips out. And then you're hurt, you're broken, and you're left with scars. Are you still redeemed, beautiful, righteous, amazing, wonderful? Absolutely. But it hurts here. And it makes you feel yucky here. So, Jordan, you want to throw up the rest of those questions? So we're going to continue these questions even further. We're going to break out junior high girls over here. You can hang out on the couches or whatever you want to do. And here are the questions. What does toxic mean? When do you need to take a step back from a friendship? Should you be friends with your ex? Hello. How do you influence someone without being someone's friend?